Do you know what skills you have?
Yeah, buddy.
You may have more skills than you think you do, or you may think you've got more skills than you actually do. Which is more the case than not. All right, but you need to know how your skills, and I'm going to say this over and over again today, you need to know how your skills match up with the job that you want to get. You have to figure out how to match those two up. Your skills that you already have, things that you've already been able to accomplish, and match those up with the job that you're applying for. Because if you can do that, then you can convince that employer that you're the right person for it. And then last but not least, have you prepared? Have you planned? Have you practiced? I know that sounds kind of silly, you know. Hey, Dad, could you pretend that you're the interviewer and I'm the person coming in for the interview? And could you ask me some questions and we'll like play act, right? And you play it out and you walk in and you say, hello, Mr. Walker, and you shake your dad's hand and he asks you some questions about yourself. And what do you think is the first question almost every interviewer is going to ask you? No, not what's your name. They already know your name. They probably got your application. What's that? They've already looked at your resume.
Do you have a felony or not?
What's that?
Do you have a felony or not?
They've already figured that out, otherwise they wouldn't be wasting my time. What's the first question they're going to ask you? Why do you want to work here? That's a good question, but it's not the first.
What do you have to offer?
What do you have to offer? They'll probably ask you that too, but it's not the first.
Okay.
Why do you feel you're right for this position? Good question, but that's not the first one they're going to ask you.
How are you?
What's that?
How are you?
How are you? Oh, I don't know. Maybe that is the first question.
Do you have papers?
Do you have papers? Well, that's probably later, actually. Nobody's guessed it yet, okay? Here's the big question. Are you ready? And the question is, are you ready to answer this question? The big question they're going to ask you sometime during that interview is this. Tell me about yourself.
Oh, I got this.
Oh,
Tell me about yourself. Right? And I'll tell you, folks, I'll tell you time and time again, I've asked that question. So here we are, hey, thanks for coming down today to Frito Lay. Have a seat here. We're going to take you through an interview. Why don't you just start off by telling me about yourself? I can't tell you how many people just go. Me? Myself? And they're lost. So I'm telling you now, I'm giving you a hint that's going to help you. You need to think about that, and you need to think about what you're going to tell that person when they ask you. Because they're probably going to ask you that question. Tell me about yourself. What kind of things do you want to tell them about?
Any type of volunteer work?
Okay, volunteer work's good. What's that?
What you accomplished.
What you've accomplished. Very good. Work habits, okay? How you would describe yourself? That's basically what they're asking you to do. Yeah, tell me about yourself. Yeah. You might want to put your experience in there. Okay? All those things are good. You might even say, let me ask you, do you think this has anything to do with your work or your job? Say, I love playing football. I'm on the football team at my school, and I love playing football. Does that have anything to do with work?
No.
Doesn't it, right? It does, because it takes discipline to do that. It takes hard work. It shows that you're physically active, and you're not just sitting home playing computer games all day, right? All right, so it shows that you have some physical ability. It shows that you have the ability to show up to practice on time, and to be part of a team, and to work with others. All those things are skills that you have just by being part of a football team. Maybe you never thought about it like that, but you can sell it like that to a prospective employer. All right, so let's look at a job. Let's say you go online and you look at a job, and here's a job working for Best Buy. Maybe good job, maybe not for you, I don't know. I know that maybe someday you want to be a police person, or you want to be a fire person, or you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, but you know what? The sad truth is you're going to have to get a job in the meantime. Because you're going to have to have a job to put gas in your car and to go out and have fun with your friends and do some things. You can't rely on your parents, right, to do that kind of stuff. So you're going to have to get a job. It's probably going to be something like this one. All right, who can read me And what this is I knew that Best Buy was hiring, okay? And I went to the Best Buy website, first thing I did, and right there at the top in the bar it says about Best Buy. And I clicked on that, and I learned some things about Best Buy. All right? Because I want to know this before I go into my interview. I want to have some facts about the company that's going to maybe hire me and pay me, right? So what are some things I learned? I learned that they do more than $50 billion a year in revenue. Did you know the average company in the United States does $250 million a year? So this thing is huge. It's a giant company. Probably a lot bigger than any of us thought anyways. They have 180,000 employees working for Best Buy. I would have never imagined that. Right? They own Napster. Who knew? Right? And they donated about $25 million to improve communities around them. So another question, prospective employer might ask you is, what do you know about Best Buy? You say, oh, well, I bought a video here once. That's not going to work, right? So you want to say, well, I went online, and I looked up your company, and I saw that you do about $50 billion a year in revenue. You guys are a lot bigger than I thought you were. And I didn't know you own Napster. And I didn't know that you have about 180,000 employees. And the interviewer would probably at this point say, I do that either. And suddenly you've impressed them because you know something about the job that you've applied for. It sounds simple, and it is, but it's something most people don't do. I ask people, what do you know about Frito Lay? Well, I don't know. A friend of mine told me you were hiring. Here I am. That's not very impressive.